So this is the alternative system, and we can say in today's world, without fear of exaggeration, that there are basically just two systems surviving, because the only two civilizations, transnational, global civilizations that still can claim to exist are the Islamic civilization, the civilization of secular modernity. Everything else has more or less surrendered to the latter. The other two civilizations that were worth taking seriously were South Asian Hindu civilization and Chinese civilization. Both of those have now adopted styles of education, apart from certain small ghettos, that are virtually indistinguishable from the Western norm, and may even be more Western than the Western norm insofar as they ideologize progress and material gain even more substantially than is the case in most Western schools, because of the ideology of development. So this is what we're up against, if you like, and this is also what has shaped us, because most of us have been through those schools, whether we've been brought up in the West or in the Islamic world. The mere fact of speaking the English language means that one willy-nilly speaks in those categories. And this has to be set against the Islamic understanding of education, which is rooted, as we saw before, in the Islamic understanding of man as being potentially the lowest of the low, asfala safilin, but through education, through remembrance, becoming potentially higher than the angels. Certainly, there is no common ground between the Western anthropology and that of Islam, because we can never view the totality of the human creature as being essentially defined by the biological. What is the human creature? Again, we could use the Quranic definition and say, man is that creature before whom the angels justly bow down in worship. Could be a definition. Now, Iblis, alayhi la'na, saw only the clay. We were created of tinin lazib, clinging clay, apparently the basest matter in creation. And Iblis could only see the clay. He sees the physical stuff of our being, and he says that is man and not really worth bowing down to. So Iblis, if you like, is the paradigm of the modern educational theorist, because Iblis, alayhi la'na, is saying precisely what the modern educationist is saying, which is that man is just a lump of clay. So, right, again, at the very beginning of Al-Qur'an al-Karim, we see this differentiation between the angelic and the bestial definition of the human condition. A definition and a battle which has been lost in the West and which we are struggling to continue to win in the Muslim Ummah. Again, to go back to the first of our three falls or three expulsions, the image of man is that man is the one who has been taught. He's the one who عَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. He taught Adam all of the names. And this is what made him the Khilafah. We've seen this already. And so Jalaluddin Rumi, Qaddasallahu sirrahu, actually has a name for Adam, and he calls him Allam al-Asma' Beg. Kind of Turkish composite phrase. He is the Lord of He taught the names. That is what makes us lordly in the world, because we have the names. What are these names? We could say that a name, these objects of the first act of education in human history, a name here means the discursive, conceptualized knowledge of a thing. And that is what no other order of creation has. A cow, or a dog, or a tree has no names for anything. Occasionally, certain higher forms of creation can engage in certain primitive forms of speech, but there is no indication that they have names. In other words, they cannot conceptualize, they cannot have an abstract understanding of the meaning or essence of another phenomenon of existence. So this is the knowledge of the shadows, of the zulumat. And it's not the knowledge of the that, but it is the knowledge of the divine names. Because the true names of phenomena in existence are not the names that human beings have conventionally dreamed up for those phenomena, but are the names that Allah Himself has applied to them. Sometimes we can know these through revelation. And our ability to give names, to be educated to give names to the phenomena of the manifest world, originates in the first moment of our existence as conscious naming beings, which is indicated in the Quran. This great verse where Allah takes, before their engendering in the world, the children of Adam, the dhurriya, the souls, before they're being enfleshed, and ashhadahum ala anfusihim, made them bear witness upon themselves, testify to themselves, and He said, alastu bi rabbikum, am I not your Lord? Qalu bala shahidna, they said, we said, yes, indeed, we bear witness, you are our Lord. And this was, lest you should say on the Yawm al-Qiyamah, that of this we were unaware. Kunna an hadha ghafilin. So, that is the kind of primordial proto-education, if you like, that even predates the ta'aleem that Sayyidina Adam received of the kalimat and of the names. And we can say that from that point we are educated human beings, and hence all education in the world is a re-education. It's a reclamation of what we already know. Now we knew it jumlatan, globally, generally. We didn't know it tafsilan, we didn't know all of the details. But it's the big picture that counts. Now, Adam alayhi salam is in this the prototype of all humanity in the processes of education, inculcation, because in him we were present at that primordial covenant, the day of alastu bi rabbikum. So Adam becomes the repository of all knowledge, and to the extent that we know, to the extent that we say shahidna, we can be said to be Adamic, to have reclaimed our Adamic form. So, to learn in the Quranic perspective is not about progress at all. It's not about moving forwards, of discovering the unknown. It's about moving back. Religion is reactionary. We like to go back because we know that goodness is at our source, not at the periphery. And our Adamic nature is the nature to which we wish to return, because it's the fitrah with which we were born.